Today is going to be a different type of video. I'm going to be sitting down talking with you guys, hence the title of this video, Makeup Essentials for Beginners. I'm going to share what I have in here with you guys to kind of give you an idea of things you need to start off. I kind of want to start like a beginner makeup series kind of thing. So what I will be doing is doing a whole bunch of videos geared towards you, my makeup beginners, and I will have it in like a playlist. So I'll have all the videos all together in one spot. That way you guys can find them and access them easily whenever you need them or need to refer to them. So this is probably video number 2 because I did do a full face of drugstore before. If you haven't seen that video, definitely make sure you check that out. The link will be linked up there. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and get right into the video. But I love it. To share with you the products that I selected. The order that we're going to go in is probably just in the order that you would put it on your face. I think that'll be the most easiest way to kind of breeze through this. So starting off with a primer, you want to make sure that you're creating a barrier between your makeup and your actual skin, but it also will enhance the look of your finished makeup look and make it last all day. The 2 primers I have here is the L'Oreal Magic Lumi Glotion. This will give you more of like a glow underneath your foundation. So if you're looking towards glowy skin, this is definitely a primer that I would recommend. And then you also have the Hard Candy Sheer Envy Shine Free Primer, and this controls shine for a matte finish. If you're going for something to brighten up your skin, make it more glowy, go this way. And if you're looking for more of a mattified look, you'll go this way. Now I will sit here and honestly say that I do not have a drugstore primer that I cling to, and that's just me being completely honest with you guys. I don't. In the beginning, when I first started wearing makeup, I didn't really care to wear primer, but honestly now that I'm a little bit more advanced, I wouldn't say that I'm a makeup artist or anything, or I specialize in this, but just my years throughout wearing makeup and playing with it and everything like that, primer has definitely made a difference in my makeup routine. So that's why I'm stressing that you do and should put a primer in your makeup kit. Moving on to foundation, that's something that I feel like everyone goes through phases with. You might like one foundation at one point and something else later on. You know, there's always new releases, new products on the market that you try and you love more than you love the ones that you used to love before. So that's something that you definitely are going to always be experimenting with. Now, one foundation, drugstore wise, that I can say has been holy grail for me is the L'Oreal True Match foundation, and I own that foundation right at this moment because once I ran out, that's not something that I repurchased, especially with the launching of, you know, so many other different foundations. I wanted to kind of try out new things, but I feel like the L'Oreal True Match is a great foundation to be learning with. It's one that's not like extremely full coverage or extremely sheer, like it's like right in between, and you can build it up to be as full coverage as you want it to be. And I feel like that is a great foundation for beginners to start with. Sometimes as a beginner, I feel like starting off with a full coverage foundation can be intimidating because you really don't know how to work with the product. So that's why I truly feel that working with something that is less full coverage is easier to manipulate and work better with versus going straight in with a full coverage foundation. Now that's not to say that you can't, because if you want to go in with a full coverage foundation and do that, then I'm not saying don't, but it's not something that I would personally recommend doing. For my 2 foundations though, I have the Maybelline Fit Me, and this is the matte and poreless one. This is definitely a highly talked about foundation, and I do love this foundation, I'm not gonna lie. Now I don't love it as much as the L'Oreal one, but I do love it. And then the NYX, which is a newer foundation now is the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop Full Coverage Foundation. This foundation, again, for those of you who want to just jump in with a full coverage foundation, I would suggest going in or using the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop Full Coverage Foundation. I absolutely love this foundation since I reviewed it. I've been using it so much ever since. Definitely recommend this one, but I also recommend this one as well as the L'Oreal. So my top 3 choices, L'Oreal being the first one, the NYX being the second, and then the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless being the third. I wanted to buy all 3 or 3 different kinds of foundations to kind of figure out which one you like or which one works best for you. You can definitely do that. I have tons and tons of foundations. It just depends on the day, what kind of look I'm going for, which will determine what kind of foundation I want to use for the day. Concealer is not something that I think is for everyone. Some people might prefer not to use no concealer at all. When I started off in makeup, I did not use concealer. Then when I gravitated into using concealer, I was a little intimidated, you know, and for a second I didn't want to use it, but then I kind of just like pushed forward and pushed through it and kind of figured out my own technique and what worked best for me. Choosing a concealer to work with, a highly talked about one or a very user-friendly concealer is the Maybelline Fit Me concealer right here, and I think people compare this to the NARS Creamy Concealer, if I'm not mistaken. It's definitely a user-friendly one. This is the one I started out with. Now what I will suggest is using a shade, if you want to highlight, use a shade 1 or 2 shades lighter than your foundation. If you don't want to highlight, then try to find a concealer that best matches your foundation. Now I would recommend going in with a concealer that's closer to your skin tone versus highlighting until you get that technique down. But if you want to jump in with a highlighting concealer, then by all means do so. So for a highlighting concealer, I have the Maybelline Fit Me, and then for a more match my skin tone type of concealer is the Rimmel Lasting Finish Breathable Concealer. So these are the 2 concealers that I would suggest you have in your makeup bag. So for powders, I don't suggest baking as a beginner. I mean, I don't even bake really too much now. But as a beginner, for sure, I don't really suggest it. But alternative to baking, I would suggest using the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. This powder has been my favorite drugstore powder. It has not, you know, stirred me in the wrong direction. It doesn't have any kind of flashback, anything like that. So I definitely love to use this. Those of you who prefer a loose powder, I would suggest the Airspun powder, and this is just the original formula Airspun loose face powder, and this is in translucent extra coverage. I love the smell of this powder. If you don't like anything with smell, then you would not like this one. For that, I would just use the Stay Matte. But if you don't mind a little sweet smell in your powder, I would definitely suggest this. This also doesn't or hasn't given me personally any flashback in photography or anything like that. So if you want to use a loose setting powder, I would suggest the Airspun. And then for a more pressed kind of powder, I would suggest this Rimmel Stay Matte. Next thing is bronzer, cream contour, or contour in general, and blush. Now, out of those 3 things, the only thing that I would suggest as a beginner to start off doing is using blush, if that's something you like. Now, in the beginning of makeup, I didn't really care for blush, and maybe that's because I wasn't applying it correctly. But now, I like me a little blush. As a beginner, I would suggest this e.l.f. Total Face Palette. And it looks like this. It comes with 2 blushes and 1 bronzer and 1 kind of like highlight or bronzer kind of tone. I would suggest using this mostly for the blushes. This light brown shade right here I often use to go over my cream contour, but I don't suggest doing all of that as a beginner. It definitely can be very intimidating. But if you don't ever practice, then you won't ever know how to do it. So I'm not knocking it. I just don't have anything that I would suggest. Moving on to the eyes, I definitely did not start putting on eyeshadow when I first started doing makeup. It's not something that was in my routine, and it wasn't something that I was trying to focus on in the beginning. But for those of you who want to dabble into eyeshadow, I do have two palettes that I would suggest offhand. First palette is the CoverGirl True Naked's Nudes palette. This palette is so much better than, no offense Maybelline, but way better than the Maybelline Fit Me, or not Fit Me, Maybelline palettes. I have like all three, four of them. The Rockstar, the Nudes, the Big Blush Nudes. Those palettes, no buenito. But this palette was definitely good. It's neutral tones in here, easy to work with, easy to blend. So I would definitely suggest this. And for another affordable option, but it's not drugstore, is the Morphe palette. This one is the 9C. This isn't neutral shades, but they do have some neutrals in here. You have some glitters if you want to dab into glitters. Morphe also provides more palettes of different variations of shadows and colors and things of that sort. You can find Morphe in Ulta, but you can also go to the Morphe website. I don't feel like palettes are essential, but if you want any of them, those are my options. It's definitely a go-to and a must for me when I'm doing my makeup. I remember the days I used to do no foundation. There are still days to this day that I don't do no foundation, but my lashes have to be done. Whether it's just coating it with mascara or actually putting falsies on, whatever it may be, my lashes gotta be did, okay? Mascara is definitely one of those first steps. I remember when I was younger, my mom didn't let me put makeup on my face, but she definitely let me put on mascara. Now, my favorite mascara of all time is the L'Oreal Lash Paradise, Voluminous Lash Paradise. I can't say that all together, but this one right here, this pink one, it reminds me so much of the Better Than Sex Too Faced mascara, which is at a higher price point. So to have something be so much more cheaper and work just about the same, if not exactly the same, is definitely a win in my books. So if you're looking for a good mascara to try for the first time, I would definitely suggest this. Now, on that same note, I will say that not everybody's lashes are the same. Not everybody's lashes will work the same with, you know, products, regardless of what I am suggesting to you all. Your lashes may not come out like mine when using this, but if I was going to suggest something, it would definitely be this. Another one that I'm really hyped about and really love using is the Telescopic Carbon Black Mascara. And I definitely love this for my lower lashes because of the small wand on the bottom. And I just feel like it's easier to get in there. Everyone wants a different look when it comes to mascara. So just depending on your preference of what you like and what you prefer, will decide on which mascara you guys lean more towards. This is more like, it gives volume, but it also curls your lashes a little bit, and this one just definitely just gives that length that you want. So you can use them in combination or you can use them separately, however you want to do it, but these are definitely the two mascaras that I would recommend for sure. I've definitely learned a lot when it comes to your eyebrows. I used to be the girl to put on a whole face of makeup and not even care to touch my brows. I never thought it was necessary. I never thought it was important until I actually took the time to do my brows. Doing my brows has definitely changed the game for me. So with that being said, the product that I recommend is definitely the L'Oreal Brow Stylist and Definer Ultra Fine Tip Pencil. It has the pencil on one side and the spoolie on the other. Now, if you don't want to put any added product in your brows or like carve them out or anything like that, I do suggest a brow tint or clear brow gel or otherwise mascara, whatever it is that you want to use to kind of define your brow hairs just a little more. And the one I would suggest is the e.l.f. Brow Tint in Sin Dark. So it's like a dark brown, and it's just a tint for your brows. Now, I really didn't care to wear like bold colors or anything like that, I would suggest going in with like neutrals. And for my nudes, I have a few different ones. I have this clear gloss. This is actually a gloss. Definitely can't go wrong with the glossy lip. It has a pink tint to it. This is the Milani Bare Pink, and I really like this gloss. Also love the Ulta Beauty Juice Infused lip oils. Those are really good and very nourishing on your lip. And then the NYX Butter Gloss in Tiramisu. Hopefully I said that right. But there's that one. And then the Milani lip cream in Adorable. I really hope that this helped you guys out if you're struggling on figuring out what it is that you want to put into your makeup bag. Either way it goes, I hope you guys were able to take something from this video, whether it's you creating a new routine or tweaking the current routine that you have now. And as always, I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video or vlog, whichever one comes first. But until next time, I'll talk to you guys later.